Welcome to Google Play PolicyBytes. I'm Joe, the Outreach and Policy Education Lead. Thanks for joining us. We're excited to have you here. Today, we'll review the Google Play policy updates being launched this spring 2020. We'll talk through some examples and best practices for compliance, and we'll also give you some useful resources to better understand this update with greater detail. So, what are we going to cover? These policy updates impact resource downloads, which is additional app resources like game assets that may only be downloaded if they are necessary for the user's use of the app. Malware. Malware is any code that could put a user's data, or device at risk. Manipulated behavior. These are apps that promote or create false or misleading information or claims conveyed through imagery, videos, and/or text. Impossible functionality. These are apps that attempt to deceive users or enable dishonest behavior, including but not limited to apps which are determined to be functionally impossible. Families will require requirements of apps that collect sensitive data from children. Discuss the Families Add Format policy, the Families Add program name change, and the use of the Companion Device Manager. Background location, and a reminder of the upcoming approval process for apps that want background access, and subscriptions, to ensure users understand what is included with a subscription, the terms of free trials or introductory offers, and how to manage their subscription, including cancellation. Let's start with the update to our resource download policy, which is housed in the set of policies that cover malicious behavior. This policy ensures Google Play users can download safe resources with clear disclosure of their file size. To enable that, additional app resources, like game assets, may only be downloaded if they are necessary for the user's use of the app, and they must be compliant with all Google Play policies. Also, before beginning the download, the app should prompt users and clearly disclose the file size of the download. Let's take a look at this example. In the sample screenshot on the left, the app clearly prompts users to either download the file or dismiss the option. It also discloses the file size before downloading the additional resources. However, the sample screenshot on the right is not compliant. The app doesn't prompt the user to download the file, it just starts downloading it. It also doesn't disclose any file sizes to the user. Android and Google Play have strived to fight against malware on our platform to ensure that Google Play remains a safe and trustworthy platform for our users. As part of this effort, we further articulated the fundamental principle of our existing malware policy. Our malware policy is simple, and the Android ecosystem, including the Google Play Store, and the user devices should be free from malicious behavior. Through this fundamental principle, we strive to provide a safe Android ecosystem for our users and their devices. To find out more about this update, visit the link on your screen. Manipulated media, a policy covered under our set of policies that oversee deceptive behavior, provides additional guidance for manipulated or altered media. In principle, we don't allow apps that promote or help create false or misleading information or claims conveyed through imagery, videos, and/or text, which may cause harm pertaining to sensitive events, politics, social issues, or other matters of public concern. Common violations include apps that help add a public figure to a politically sensitive demonstration or event, apps using public figures or media from a sensitive event to advertise its media-altering capability within an App Store listing, and apps that alter media clips to mimic a news broadcast. If your app creates manipulated or altered media, you may need to include a watermark or disclose in the final produced media when it may not be clear to the average person that the media has been altered. Please review this policy for more details. Let's take a look at some examples. The sample screenshot on the left shows an app with a face swap feature that does not promote altering public figures or sensitive events, nor does it create realistic images, which require a watermark. This is allowed. The app on the right is an example of a prohibited app like this fake news generator. as it creates media that could be mistaken as real, provides the option to drop in potentially famous political figures, and more. This is prohibited and will not be allowed on Google Play. Impossible functionality. We've strengthened language in our deceptive behavior policy that covers impossible functionality within an app. We will not allow apps that attempt to deceive users or enable dishonest behavior, including but not limited to apps which claim provide functionality that is impossible to perform. Apps must provide an accurate disclosure, description, and images and/or video of their functionality in all parts of the metadata, and they should perform as reasonably expected by the user. Let's take a look at some examples. The app on the left is an accepted use case which shows in the metadata and media that the app is clearly used as a prank. If your app is intended to be a prank app, please make sure users are aware of this either in the title or in the app description to ensure accurate metadata is provided. However, in the example on the right, it's not allowed because the app is deceiving users by instructing them to blow on their phone as a breathalyzer. This is clearly impossible functionality of the phone, and the app is not labeled as a prank, and as such, it is not allowed. We also made a significant policy update on collecting sensitive user data without disclosure for all apps that are targeting kids under the Design for Families program, meaning all apps that have kids as a target audience. Through this update, you must disclose the collection of any personal and sensitive information from children in your app, including through APIs and SDKs, called or used in your app. Sensitive information from children includes, but is not limited to, authentication information, microphone and camera sensor data, device data, Android ID, ad usage data, and advertising ID. If your app collects personal and sensitive information from children, it must be disclosed in the Google Play console. You can refer to our Policy Center to understand what is personal and sensitive information. We also made an update to the ad format policy for the apps targeting kids as audience as we witness spammy behaviors in kids apps and apps using emotionally manipulative tactics to lure kids into making in-app purchases. Ads and offers for in-app purchases must not have deceptive content or be designed in a way that result in inadvertent clicks from child users. The sample app on the left is prohibited. It uses emotionally manipulative tactics to encourage in-app purchases from children users. I hope this example better explains this change. Now let's move on to the next topic. Other updates to our family policies include a name change. We've renamed the Ad Network Certification Program to simply our Family's Ad Program. Additionally, we now require apps must use the Companion Device Manager, or CDM, when requesting Bluetooth, unless your app is only targeting device operating system versions that are not compatible with CDM. As we took a closer look at background location usage, we found that many of the apps that requested background location didn't actually need it. In fact, many of these apps could provide the same user experience by only accessing location when the app is visible to the user. This is a larger update, and you'll want to check out the resources on this Play Academy site for more information on these specific background location requirements, Play enforcement timelines, and any action required by you, the developer. Also, we updated our subscription policy to provide clear guidance on how to create transparent subscription models that are easily understood by your users. We want developers to be successful on Google Play by building sustainable business models. By providing transparent descriptions of the subscription content and services you offer in your app, you're helping to build a safe and trustworthy ecosystem, where users are empowered to make informed decisions about their subscription purchases. In the upcoming content, I'll walk you through the best practices, common violations, and examples to help you better understand this policy. First, let's take a look at some best practices for subscription offers. Make sure that you are always transparent with your subscription offer in terms of the price of the subscription, the frequency of the billing cycle, and be sure to let your users know if a subscription is required to use the app. We'll go through these items again with sample screenshots shortly. Let's look at a few examples of common violations. First, your offer should be clear about how much and how often a user will be charged to access the subscription content or services being offered. Also, the price a user will be charged at the time of subscribing should be easily understood from your offer. The price of a subscription purchase should never be a surprise. Lastly, the pricing, billing cycle, terms, and conditions of your offer should be in the same language so that users can understand the offer as a whole. Let's take a look at these sample screenshots. Notice how the acceptable screenshot on the left reveals exactly what users need to know before buying, including the price a user will be charged, $9.99, and how often the user will be charged, monthly. However, the screenshot on the right doesn't include any billing cycle information. Does $9.99 mean a one-time fee, monthly, or annual fee? We don't know. The terms are also not clearly visible to the user. This is not allowed. Let's take a look at this second example. The screenshot on the left displays the content or services the user is getting access to with the subscription. In this example, unlimited access to a content library. However, the screenshot on the right displays the offer in a mix of English and Spanish. Having this kind of partially localized or translated content is not allowed. On to the next example. The screenshot on the left displays the offer with a clearly visible dismiss button that lets the user know that they can dismiss the offer. The screenshot on the right, the button is either virtually invisible or missing entirely. This makes it appear as if the user has no choice but to accept the offer, even though this particular offer is not required to access the content and services in the app. This is prohibited. The screenshot on the left displays the total price for the subscription period that the user is billed for. However, the screenshot on the right appears the user will be charged $8 a month, but the user is actually charged the total of $48 for 6 months of the service. The user should always be displayed the total price and the subscription period that is purchased with that price. The price should not be displayed in any other format. Next, we'll cover how you should cover free trials and introductory offers. As a Play developer, you must clearly and accurately describe the terms of your offer, including the duration, pricing, and description of accessible content or services. Be sure to let users know how and when a free trial will convert to a paid subscription, how much the paid subscription will cost, and how a user can cancel if they do not want to convert to a paid subscription. Let's take a look at some screenshots. The screenshot on the left clearly displays the free trial period, in this case 3 days, and the monthly subscription price after the trial ends. The screenshot on the right does not prominently display the free trial period and what happens when it ends. In the example on the left, we use the same acceptable screenshot to show a clear indication of automatic enrollment of the user into the monthly subscription after the free trial ends. The screenshot on the right does not highlight prominently that the user is automatically enrolled into a monthly subscription after the free 3-day trial ends. Lastly, as a developer, you must ensure that your app clearly discloses how a user can manage or cancel their subscription. Also, please be informed that you may implement a more flexible refund policy with your users directly. It is your responsibility to notify your users of any changes to your refund policies and ensure that all policies comply with applicable law. This wraps up our subscription policy update. Let's move on to the next topic. All new apps or app updates published after these policy changes are announced are immediately subject to these latest policy updates. Developers with existing apps currently on Google Play will have 30 days from the issuance of this policy update notification to bring their apps into compliance. Some larger policy updates give developers a longer grace period. These include updates to our subscription and background location policies. Check out the Policy Center for the latest details on these grace periods and enforcement timelines. Lastly, here are some more Google Play developer resources to learn about these policy changes. Please make sure you review the policy updates in greater detail from our Policy Center and check out the Google Play Academy's new policy curriculum. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure your email is up to date in the Google Play console so you receive our regular updates, including policy, tooling updates, and more. And that's it. Thanks for joining us today. It's our developer community who helps keep Google Play a fun and safe place for everyone. So until next time, stay awesome and have a great day.